Hello. Now I will give you a little lesson in astronomy, which in my opinion everyone should learn. I learned about what I'm going to tell you from Vyacheslav Kulanov's book Азбука истины Русь. So let's get started. The Earth and the Sun are in the same plane, which is called the ecliptic. The Earth has specially made bigger than Sun for clarity. The Earth has an axis around which it moves. This axis points to the polar star, and the polar star points to the north. The x-angle is 23.44 degrees. Now let's calculate what the y-angle is equal to. 90 degrees minus 23.44 equals 66.56 degrees. If you round it up, you get 66.6 or 3 sixes. Does it remind you of anything? Let's go back to the ecliptic. For easy navigation by the stars, people decided to combine them into constellations and outline a kind of ring that encircles the Earth and the Sun. It was called the ecliptic ring. The Earth stays in these constellations alternately and for a different number of days. Everyone has heard about the zodiac signs and their connection with the constellations, but not everyone knows that in addition to those 12 constellations, there is another constellation in the ecliptic ring, Ophiuchus, a total of 13 constellations. For now, let's just remember this. And now I will tell you how to determine the coordinates with two lattices fixed in the center and a clock. To do this, we need to know the degree of longitude and latitude in which we are located. Latitudes seem to encircle the North Pole, and longitudes or meridians come out of it and come into the South Pole. Let's start with latitude. By definition, latitude is equal to the angle x. Now let's put one lath in the horizon and point it at the North Star. Now I will prove that the angle x is equal to the angle y. Let's start with the fact that this lath AB is almost parallel to the axis of the Earth due to the fact that the polar star is very far away from us. The segment AM is perpendicular to the segment AO. Let's build a segment BC that will be parallel to the segment OM. Once again, I will show that the segment AB is parallel to the segment OC by the theorem of angles formed by two parallel straight lines and a secant. We see that the angle K is equal to the angle M, and the triangles ABC and ACD are rectangular. Therefore, the angle x is equal to the angle y, which was required to be proved. It remains to find the longitude. And I will tell you about two ways. One is simple and other is more complicated. According to the first method, we need to know the time of the zenith on the zero meridian and on our meridian. Let's assume that at the zero meridian, the time of the zenith will be 12 p.m. and at our longitude 2 p.m. The difference is 2 hours. We know that in 1 hour, the Earth shifts around the axis by 15 degrees, because if 360 degrees is divided by 24 hours, it will be 15. This means that we have deviated by 30 degrees from the zero meridian. Let's move on to the second method. The AB lath remains directed at the polar star, while the CD lath should be directed at the Sun strictly when it in the zenith. Thus, we install the CD lath in the plane of the ecliptic with some error, but it is insignificant due to the fact that the diameter of the Earth is 109 times smaller than the diameter of the Sun, and the distance between them is 15,000 times larger than the diameter of the Earth. Specially took the lath out of the Earth for clarity. From this point of view, it will look like this. After pointing the lath to the Sun at astronomical noon, we have to flip the CD lath 180 degrees around the AB lath. Thus, exactly 12 hours later, so at astronomical midnight, the Earth will rotate 180 degrees around this axis and this lath will again be in the ecliptic, but now it will point to some of the stars in the ecliptic ring. But to determine longitude, you need to make two measurements. The first one will be made according to the time of astronomical midnight on the zero meridian, and not according to our time, for example at 12 a.m. And the second measurement will be made at the time of our astronomical midnight, for example at 2 a.m., and our DC length will point to another star. Well then, with the help of a map of the starry sky, we will be able to calculate the angle by which we deviated from our starting point. As you understand, this tool can be used to observe the starry sky, and not just to determine longitude.
Направляем рею в полярную звезду и меряем градус. Тем самым определяем широту. В астрономический полдень направляем вторую рею, если полярная звезда там была, то Солнце где-то будет там всходить. И на середине мы его ловим. В астрономический полдень направляем рею на Солнце. Здесь, естественно, некие мушки, приспособления для засечки. Тем самым мы поймали градус, когда Солнце находится максимально высоко. В этом дне. Зимой Солнце находится ниже, летом находится Солнце выше. Зимой Солнце находится ниже. Смотрим, засекаем вот этот угол, не трогая этот угол, не меняя. Мы берем просто... Земля же вертится на 180 градусов в астрономическую полночь, чтобы была. Следственно, она вот так крутится и останавливается. Вот вам прицельное приспособление для того, чтобы попасть ночью в астрономическую полночь в эклиптику.
And now let's look at the icon of Andrew the Apostle. According to legend, Andrew the Apostle was one of the disciples of Jesus Christ. The icon depicts Andrew himself with a kind of X-shaped cross. We are told that he was executed on it. Let's analyze the name of Andrew the Apostle. Stol in English means table. Everything is clear here. An or An in English. In Sumero-Akkadian mythology, the god of the sky. Rei is lattice. Everything fits together. In order to determine the coordinates, you need to set the horizon using a table for accurate measurement. With the help of the god An, but in fact with the help of the sky to see the stars. And then direct the lattice to the North Star and the ecliptic. And finally, I want to show you some flags. In front of you is the flag of Great Britain, once the greatest maritime power. On it we see the same lattice together with the vertical and horizontal. And this flag is called the Guis of the Russian Navy. Also clearly visible here the lattice with vertical and horizontal. How do we say when the flag is flying with the wind in Russian? That's right, the flag is Реет. Well, this flag belonged to the Confederates during the American Civil War. On it we also see the lattice with 13 stars on them. According to legend, these stars symbolize the first 13 colonies that signed the Declaration of Independence. I am not an expert on the history of the United States, but as far as I know, not all of these states fought on the side of the Confederates. And why did they decide to designate the number of states with stars? Maybe the stars represent constellations? And the last flag is the flag of Novorossiya. We see all the same lattice. Let's summarize. 66.6 is the angle of inclination of the Earth's axis to the ecliptic. 13 the number of zodiac constellations in the ecliptic ring. The cross on which the Andrew the Apostle was executed is an astronomical device for observing the stars in the ecliptic. And now I want to ask you a question. Why did Christians burn astronomers in fires of Inquisition?
С причала рыбачил апостол Андрей, а Спаситель ходил по воде. И Андрей доставал из воды пескарей, а Спаситель погибших людей. И Андрей закричал: я покину причал, если ты мне откроешь секрет. А Спаситель ответил: спокойно, Андрей, никакого секрета здесь нет. Видишь, там на горе возвышается крест, под ним десяток солдат. Повиси-ка на нем, а когда надоест, возвращайся назад. Гулять по воде, гулять по воде, гулять по воде со мной. Но учитель на касках блистают рога, черный ворон кружит над крестом. Объясни мне сейчас, пожалей дурака, а распятие оставь на потом. Онемел тут спаситель и топнул в сердцах по водной глади ногой. Ты верно дурак, и Андрей в слезах побрел с пескарями домой. Видишь, там на горе возвышается крест, под ним десяток солдат. Повиси-ка на нем, а когда надоест, возвращайся назад. Гулять по воде, гулять по воде, гулять по воде со мной. Видишь, там на горе возвышается крест, под ним десяток солдат. Повиси-ка на нем, а когда надоест, возвращайся назад. Гулять по воде, гулять по воде, гулять по воде со мной. Гулять по воде, гулять по воде, гулять по воде